Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the instant match reaction. Liverpool 2, Fulham 0. Chris Pajak and I are outside of Anfield. Because that ended up being, I know, for those of you watching the video version, you'll be able to see Chris's spectacular,
I've got a red mic,
throbbing dong in his hand. I actually feel loads better about that result than I feel like I felt I would have done, if that makes sense. At half time, I thought Liverpool were a bit poor in the first half, and it was. We were a bit crap, but we actually came away with a quite a dominant performance and a relatively easy win in the end.
Yeah, it was strange because the goal first off obviously changes things, but it wasn't how I thought the goal was going to come.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel like one of those days where Liverpool do a quick counter attack and score. Yeah. It felt like we were going to score the perfect goal or nothing else.
Yes.
And maybe we'd never score if we don't score the perfect goal. So, and equally on the flip side of that, for me, I thought we were really poor, like you say, first half. We just kept giving them opportunities. And not through being like poor positioning, through I kind of felt like we were being a little bit lax.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
I thought Virgil van Dijk was pivotal to that. I think he was just. He just looked like he was still in his pyjamas, sleeping his eyes, and like Teddy clutched under one arm.
I kind of felt like getting here for 12 o'clock kickoff, to be honest with you. Maybe absolutely. He felt the same, but then the one where Gomez gets megged as well, and it was just all a bit like. To be honest with you, like we'd taken them a bit for granted. Like we were going to turn back up at Anfield and we were kind of going to steamroller them. And I'm glad there's a completely different performance happened second half because I felt that we needed that. Yeah. It felt like we did need to wake up. We actually realised that they were a threat. Yeah. And Klopp had a little bit of a go at them.
Yeah,
maybe.
we got the wake up call without actually having them score. Sessegnon goes through, and there's that he should bury that. He should absolutely bury it. He should at least test the keeper. He screws it wide, and that was right behind that, and you clenched.
Did it bounce or something like that?
I just basically, I don't know whether it bounced before that, but he basically just tries to slide it in the bottom corner and slides it wide. Well, exactly that. But talented lad. But that was the we got away. We got very lucky. I mean, we could have been 2-0 down in the first half, and you wouldn't have been like shocked. Well, we would have been shocked by that because it's Fulham. But in terms of them having the chances, it was unlucky that they didn't get a little bit more out of it in that regard. But the fact that we kind of ride the luck and come out the other side, and again, particularly with the counter-attack, I don't know whether it's offside or not. I think the general consensus is that Mitrovic was offside.
Yeah, he looked offside to me.
And then...
Yeah, I was 3 miles up in the air, but he was definitely offside.
To hit the quick counter-attack, you're dead right. We had to call upon all of our faculties to get ourselves in front in that game.
And it's Alisson's quick thinking again, isn't it, from the goalkeeper? He picks the ball up straight away while they're probably complaining to the referee, even while they're having a little pop there. Ball's on the floor and it's straight out to Trent. And before you know it, Salah's in behind and he's got the full half to run into. And then the one thing that ran through my mind was, has he got too much time here?
Yeah.
And no, he didn't.
Turns out when you're a world-class forward, no is the answer. Give someone a chance like that. He was bang up for today, really, really, and that typified it for me. We talked a lot about how Liverpool in these games need to get a bit angry, and I thought Salah did that brilliantly at times. He was the one who was constantly looking to take people on, constantly looking to make things happen, and he had a couple of decent runs, and I got that impression for that one. He was just like, no, I'm doing this. I'm having this one. This is exactly what I'm here for, and that's what world-class forwards are on the pitch for.
I've got a bit of a different opinion on Salah today, and listen, there's no doubt that he was up for the game, but I must admit I have question marks over utilising him in that role, in that type of a fixture, to be honest with you. And I kind of said that a little bit on my player rating show, but I haven't spoken to you about it, and get your opinions, obviously, be interesting anyway. There's times where he's holding the ball up, and Firmino's just much better at that. And there was so many times where Salah just lost the ball. I could maybe tell you 5, 6, 7, 8 times where he's gone on to shoulder, like use his strength, and lost the ball. Whereas I think in that position, Firmino actually suits that role much better for me. And one of the problem is I understand why you want him there. You want him for that in behind, like the goal comes from. Yeah. But that was the only opportunity all 90 minutes where he really had that.
And he wasn't playing. He didn't do that from the forward, like from the forward position.
Deep, don't they? So, but then equally, I say all that, but there's 2-3 men thinking about Salah when he's down the middle every single time. So does that then create the space for your Manes, for your Firminos, for your Shaqiri?
An interesting point was made to be where Will from LFC Focus been a bit around, and I think it might have been on the free for all, and he made the point. I'm not sure it's. I think the problem is we're kind of Shaqiri's better on the right hand side, and so who have you got for the 10? Really, we need to get Shaqiri in. We need at the minute of the 4 lads that we want to get into the team. You don't want to see Firmino out wide. Yeah, we could put put Shaqiri in the 10 of Firmino, but I wonder whether it's just he just fancies Shaqiri more out wide, and Firmino's being asked to do more of a job in that 10%, because I thought Firmino was crap again today.
I thought everything we did went through him. You know, every time we looked good, I felt when it was him picking the ball up in the middle, I thought he'd sack back really well. I can count 3-4 times where he won the ball back in our half, and you know, he was looking for it. That was the best I felt he played in that 10 position today. Yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously I had the main stand view, the sort of telly view where you can see everything that's going on. You're in the cop, and even from just there, 2 completely different opinions on 2 different players.
Yeah. Like I say, I think the Salah in particular, it's easier because he's right in front of you in the second half, isn't it? But he was a constant threat. Bobby Firmino gets lost in that position for me, and I think he did right. He dropped deep, and I think he's literally being played there because he's the most trusted to do that job. Because it's not too dissimilar to what he's been doing, I guess, because he does drop into those positions a lot when he is playing, when he is leading the line. But he's just maybe it's changing expectations of what I want from Bobby Firmino. Maybe that's what I need to do, because I want Bobby Firmino, the creator, Bobby Firmino, the goal scorer, and at the minute he just feels so far removed from the cutting thrust of it.
Maybe I'm thinking back now and wondering why we may have those different opinions. And you know, first half I've probably got a much better view of Firmino, and you know, maybe when we watch the game back I might be wrong myself here, but it felt like he was the guy that was always getting it to move the ball on, and everything that we did when we created opportunities, it came through Firmino. That one where, you know, he flicks the ball over to Salah and we almost scored a perfect team goal. He's involved in that move sort of 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're right. The good stuff that we did in the first half is a fucking spec, you know what I mean? Whereas second half, again, there's a recency bias to it. I couldn't tell you what Firmino really did in the second half, and I thought Shaqiri was excellent though. I thought he, and again, particularly the second half, he's looking to make things happen. I'm so glad he gets his goal again, and it's a really good goal. Yeah, very, very good. I thought he was going to edit, and to have the comment. Now here's
that's
the thing.
Because it was that high.
Well, yeah,
that's what he should do.
Exactly. But yeah, most people would have been a dive, and then a situation he could have just slotted that with his head. But to take that now, if he skies that, we're all going, "What are you doing, you idiot?" But he doesn't. He scores. So boss. Andy Robertson was my man of the match. I thought he was absolutely outstanding.
Gets the assist for that one as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which is mad, because that one, am I right in saying that one came from a corner on the right hand side? It's a long ball over, then Virgil ends up with the ball in the corner.
Yeah, it's funny. There's it's like a minute and a odd sequence where we start off and it's not really. It goes. Yeah, it's mad, and then it breaks.
It's not the normal type of Andy Robertson cross, that though, is it?
It's more of a Hendo style cross.
Exactly,
yeah.
It is. It's that deep sort of half space area, quite deep. Maybe not half space, actually, probably more to the wing. Looping ball in, and Shaqiri finds himself in loads of space. And there was a couple of times where that ball was on throughout the day. I remember first half there was a couple to Trent. I was really impressed with Fabinho looking for Trent for that ball, but Shaqiri's, he loves to bend that running and sort of get in behind, doesn't he? And you know, he's got the skill to back it up as well.
I thought you mentioned his name there. I thought it was another poor game for Trent. Delivery wise, I thought he was miles off. I can't remember what show it was I said it on, but this
is going to be one of them shows where
we
just disagree the whole way through.
You can see in the way that he's reacting to stuff. I think he's aware of his poor form, because you can see how angry he's getting with himself, and that for me is that all the reason I'd be pulling him out the team, because I think he's trying too hard to make things happen. I thought his touch was poor, his decision making was poor, his crossing was poor. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be ranking him lower than like a 6 or whatever, but he or 5 or 6.
I think I gave him a 7.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to go that high, but it was so far contrasted by how good Robertson was on the other side, and I think there's moments where you need Trent to really to be at the peak of his powers, and at the minute he's not. And I fully agree with the decision to start him in this game, because I think you need to get back on the horse, and we're working ourselves into an unfortunate situation where I want Gomez starting centre half for us every week, and so that what are the alternatives?
To start right back,
and that's it.
But I we won't argue about this stuff, but for me, one of the things that I thought Trent was better for was having Gomez alongside him, rather than someone like a Lovren. This is a budding sort of relationship on that right hand side there, and for me, just like you, I want to see Joe Gomez starting at centre half, and that means you've got to play Trent on the right hand side, and you've got to kind of play him into a little bit of form and stuff. But for me, I think Trent feels more comfortable with Gomez alongside him. Yeah. Like he knows what he's going to do. Like he knows if he fucks up, Joe's got me back there, because they're clearly pals. They've come through this shit together as well. So I think it was a good thing that both of them started, rather than maybe someone like a Lovren alongside him.
The thing that I thought, where maybe something you might have time to look into with regards to how we play this formation, it was noticeable to me how isolated our full-backs end when they're when we're in possession, and not having that the 2-8 or whatever in the team, we give the ball, and this is where I think Robertson actually ended up flourishing as a result of it. I think he really rose to the occasion of committing, getting down the wing, making a threat of himself. Is the amount of we pass the ball over to a fullback, and they look to play the ball, and there's no Genie or Milner or Cater or whatever there who's normally there in that formation. It just feels, and it's another game I felt like this when we played it. God, what was the game we played it? I forget, a few weeks ago at home. Maybe? It wouldn't have been Cardiff, but it was earlier than that. And I just feel like the first half we looked very, very bang average in that formation. There's nothing special about how we played, because this is the whole notion of building the plane while it's in the air. I feel like we've switched to this formation as a reaction to how the season's going, as opposed to something that looks totally fluid in how we're doing it. And I thought Genie was okay, and I thought Fabinho was okay, but I don't know, we didn't feel, we ended up dominating the second half, but we never felt brilliant at any point during that game. Now, don't get me wrong, we never needed to be.
There's an important point that we've probably not discussed yet, and that is Liverpool aren't very good after Champions League games normally, and this season we've been very good after Champions League games. Drawing them with Manchester City, alright, albeit at Anfield, it's still probably a little bit of a disappointing result. That's after the Champions League. We've had a tough away fixture, a long way away, and we've actually made it really easy second half. So I get what you're saying. You want Liverpool to go out there and you want them to steamroll the sides, but there is that pragmatism that's still there.
I don't think even the steamroller thing, but I think taking 45 minutes to get into a game against a team like Fulham, I want to see us be. I want to see us be better.
Fulham, aren't they? Yeah. Because individually, I look at Mitrovic and think big, strong. Actually, Virgil had a little bit of a physical battle with him, and that's not something you normally see. And then you look at the likes of Session, clearly talented, Shearer, clearly talented. Said he comes off the bench, but they're not a good team. Yeah. They've got a few individuals, and what are they doing? If they just come up, they're going to spend a little bit of money, and they're going to go back down again. Maybe
it looks like
the players look like they're better than that. But I was surprised with how good they were first half. I thought they did give us troubles, but I think it was. Definitely we brought it on ourselves. Exactly.
It was, again, as you say, we mentioned earlier, it was a bit of sloppiness, a bit of complacency, and a little bit of stupidity that played in that would have cost us. In a better team, it would cost us against. I think my overriding thoughts and feelings on this one is, by the time this is out, we'll know a little bit more about how the Premier League shaped up.
Probably on the back going tickle me now.
Everton have probably rolled over and having their bellies tickled right now. But I think contextually, we've said this for ages now, and Klopp was at pains to say it in his pre-match press conference. Like he burst out laughing when people talked about goal difference. Boss. People, he burst out laughing when people were asking about the goal difference thing, and and you can see that his mentality is clearly points first. Get points on the board. Thanks, mate. Get points on the board, and that's the most important thing. And I think again, we've done this a few times this season, and I think our logic and our approach is absolutely spot on. Because as much as I'm saying I think Liverpool needs to be better, and we should be better, I think we made harder work of against the worst team in the league than we maybe should have done. But what we did there was once again chuck the baton down. And as I say, people watching this or listening to this after the fact will know whether it mattered or not. But the point is that Liverpool have just gone, there you go. go and deal with it. There's our 3 points. There's us at top of the league. Come and knock us off. And I think it feels more and more. Like, I'm not saying us being not great is a deliberate game plan by any stretch, but I feel that is the game plan to a certain extent, and maybe that's adding a little bit of pressure onto the lads. We're clearly not playing free-flowing football because it is far more important that we get the win.
You're right, but there was how many times have we stood here over the course of the last few years and gone, we're putting too much pressure on the forward lads because they have to score 4 every game.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's all changed, and we're like, we're putting too much pressure on the defence because we're not being brilliant up front. Yeah. You can't have it both ways. We have more points at this stage of the season than I can ever remember us having. Yeah. Our goal difference is okay. We're at the top of the table. We're 2 points behind, give or take, one of the best sides that's ever competed in the Premier League. Yeah. And we're making light work of it. We're walking away from Anfield disappointed that we only won 2-0. Yeah. I mean, times have fucking changed there, Paul.
Isn't it? Well, dead right. We said this the other week, drawing games and going top of the league. And with Liverpool, we've become a bit precious about these things, haven't we? And we definitely shouldn't be. And like I say, I walked out of Anfield feeling loads happy about that because the way we approached the second half, we were so much better in the second half than we were in the first, and that was a very good thing, and we should have put them to the sword more. The good thing is we never needed to, because ultimately after we got through the first half wobbles a bit, they didn't lay a glove on us, really, did they? And and this is not me being cheerless from a goal difference perspective, because again, we've said this, I'm not arsed. We'll let that sort itself out as the season progresses. But it would be nice for us to just, I think, for our own peace of mind, I think just to see Liverpool just give us a little bit more of that. I think it will take a lot of the pressure off.
It'll come. That's the thing. Klopp mentioned it himself this week. We weren't playing great football at this time last season. Something will click at some point. They will be taken off the leash when we're not playing Champions League. When the Champions League group games end, that's when all the top teams all start to use their squads. When everybody else is playing 2 games a week, your Fulhams of this world, and everybody's smaller squad starts to make a difference. Yeah. That's when the cream rises. We will do exactly the same.
Nailed it. You felt like you were 4 words away from that being an absolutely rousing end.
I was going to finish, and it looked like you were going to interrupt, so I just thought I'd stop.
I was just like, I guess
I'll just fucking end the fucking video.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular.
It's going to be much better than that, but there's chips on the floor that need a kicking. Oh, so sorry, everybody.
Amazing. And now I'm wet, and not in a good way. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Drop a like if you listen to some podcast version. Make sure you give it a 5-star rating. And we'll see you for the final words on Monday with far more in-depth and detailed analysis than this, and less water kicking. Cheers.